All right, great play. Thanks everybody for joining. Good night.
Bye. All right, everybody. What's up? We are here talking about a debrief of our campaign game of A Most Fearful Sacrifice. It's not my fault. No, wait. Oh, this is my fault. Is that how he sounded? Anyway, this is all my fault. This whole thing. So McMurray and I obviously played it. There's a lot of live stream on the channels and some recorded vids. And then Jeff played through it and posted some vids on it. But he left at when it was about nighttime because Rocket Chickamauga came in. He had to get that to the table. But he played through it. And now he's learned a lot more playing rock. Are you you're through that night, right? Of
Chickamauga? Yeah, I'm into just past mid-morning on the second day.
Okay, so you've experienced the bivouacking and all that stuff too. So yes. We just wanted to do like a 30-minute. We're going to do our best to get this done in 30 minutes. And hello, everyone watching. Just kind of go through some things that we thought about since it's been a day now. We've slept on it. I don't know, just things that we thought about the game and what we would do differently and all that business. Let's start with McMurray.
Why don't you tell them the result in case they didn't watch?
Oh, that's true. I had expected everyone would watch the 10 hours of gameplay that we did over 2 days.
Would you like me to give the result?
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's. So I'll tell our result, and then Jeff, you can tell us what was happening at the end of your first day. So we got to 10 a.m. Through 10 a.m. turn on this second day. And the result was, I did not count the victory points because it would have been ridiculous. But the Union crushed the Confederates. They, let's go ahead and show the screen here. So this is the map here. There's Gettysburg, obviously. This is the beginning. We did not play on Vestal. Obviously, we played with the boards. But here's, McPherson's Ridge. Here's the boys coming up the pike. We pretty much kept, this kind of looks like the board, to be frankly, except for it was way more Union stuff all around here. And the Confederates were all right here, what were left.
And pushing down south from on the backside of Harris Ridge. But yeah.
Yeah, so they
were Finnefrock Spur there.
Yeah, so Longstreet had made a little bit over here, but it was just getting stomped, and then we had a ton of Union guys going. Oh, I can't see. Hold on here. So that was the result. I mean, it was like I said, I didn't count the victory points. It would have just been outrageously in favor of the Union. We just could not make anything happen for the Confederates. We can talk about why that might have been. But that is the result in our game. Jeff, what happened? What was happening in yours?
Well, I owned Cemetery Hill. I owned Culp's Hill with Rhodes and Early. And Pender was crushing the remaining Union units right on the east side of Cemetery Hill that were trapped in Cemetery Ridge. And then I went to, like I say, then my night turns were getting ready to start, and Rocket Chickamauga showed up. So I cleared.
Wow.
I destroyed First Corps, and pretty much, and 11th Corps was in a shambles. And that was pretty much it. And like I said, then Rocket Chickamauga showed up. And so I was like one step ahead of what the Army of Northern Virginia was in the actual fight.
That blows my mind how different our games were.
How far had you taken all of Cemetery Ridge as well, or Seminary Ridge as well?
So on your map there where you've got that, so Cemetery Hill is the top 3 hexes on Cemetery Hill.
Yeah, these here.
And then that one unit to the south of Cemetery Hill in the woods, that's about where my Confederate line was, and then it went all the way over to Culp's Hill.
Okay, but again, my question is, did you get the entire, because I've played Gettysburg games where Ewell comes in and smashes through Gettysburg and gets to like Cemetery Hill, but there are still Union units on Seminary Ridge. Was that the case for you, or had you cleared Seminary Ridge also?
Well, so what I decided to do, since First Corps was, I mean, they were doing okay, but once the right side of 11th Corps pretty much got shoved in and Early was bypassing, I said I can't leave First Corps out there anymore.
Okay, fair enough.
But they were never able to completely get back because Pender broke through, and that gap where on Seminary Ridge, where those 2 First Corps units are, just to the right of that in the little wooded area there, they broke through and were headed and got out into the valley out there.
that's where we had a division from AP Hills Corps get right up to that gap and get stopped, surrounded, and crushed.
Yep.
So
Wait, that's how far they got up?
yeah, they were in that gap.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, that's right. I thought it was down here they were.
No, it's whatever the green division was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my Penders division was literally, you could almost say they were untouched all the way into the valley where they started to destroy. They almost wiped Buford off the map, but he got away. But the First Corps actually had units trapped behind Pender's division. And if I could ever gotten Heath to do anything, he probably could have worked on what was left of those.
Wow.
So I stand corrected. There were still, I think there was 2 batteries of guns from the 11th Corps, which had the only escape route they had was to come up Seminary Ridge and try to go around Pender behind them.
Mm.
And there was a First Corps, 1 or 2 First Corps units that were still left stuck on Seminary Ridge.
Okay. I was about to say, I've had Gettysburg games where it just turns into like an awkward north-south fight with the units stretching from the east to the west. And then invariably that valley between Seminary Ridge and Cemetery Hill just turns into a bloodbath because there's nothing there. It's just straight destructive combat.
Mm.
But anyways, that's not where we're at right now. That's not what happened yesterday.
Not at all. Not at all. So, all right. I guess let's just ultimately get to the point. Did you enjoy the experience, even though it was so lopsided?
I had a great time. Like, it's a great game. I really enjoy the game. The game can be frustrating in a really, really good way in terms of it's not okay, all of my guys get to do what I want them to. So I want, Ewell's Corps to swoop around this way and everybody's going to go through. I want AP Hill's Corps to keep pushing so that I can just get, Longstreet around the flank to the south. So, yeah, I mean, it was fun. It was frustrating at first because I got, Union units that are just sitting at essentially almost the board edge on the Emmitsburg Road. And then on, the Taneytown Road and I think it's a Baltimore Pike, just hanging out on the board edge because I can't activate them.
And you guys weren't using the March to the Sound of the Guns rule either. So
we were not.
Nope.
That would have been super duper fun, but no, we did not. So yeah, like de Trobriand and von Gilsa and stuff, when they were coming in, significantly later than the rest of their divisions, just kind of sat, right? Or were playing, a nice stroll down the roads going up towards Gettysburg. But at the same time, well, do we want to just kind of walk through how our game went other than just the end of it?
Yeah. I was just curious how you felt about it. I mean, I ultimately was the same way. Had a great time.
It was a fantastic game. Gladly play again. Not necessarily right now.
Yeah, no, that was a lot. It was long. But as I was pulling up this Vassal, I guess this tells you how I thought about it. As I was pulling up this Vassal mod just to have something up here to look at besides our lovely, beautiful faces, I was like, oh, man, I want to try this scenario. So this is the whole scenario, but I want to try that scenario where he's trying to take the hill. And I want to try that scenario where they're trying to, so I could just like play a little part of it, or even, man, just start and see where I get after a couple hours. I'd
still say a bunch of these smaller engagements are in blind swords we could play.
Yeah.
Like now, like Jeff just got first day at Gettysburg, but I have the Devils to pay, which is specifically Heath coming up to push Buford off of McPherson's Ridge. I also have Longstreet attacks, which is the south end on day 2.
Okay.
I played through the entirety of Longstreet attacks. I think I played through a scenario or 2 in Devils to pay, yeah. And I don't have first day at Gettysburg, but Jeff said that has drastically more than just the cavalry fight, yeah.
So I think we know the answer from Jeff because he didn't dump this because he wasn't enjoying it. He dumped it because he wanted to get Chickamauga on the board.
Just the same system. It's just the brand new game. Like, it's not like he said I don't like Blind Sword or Black Swan. I'm going to play something else. He just switched to a different Black Swan game. What's that?
Powell, we're placed in front of a firing squad. Lee resigned and Ewell and Powell.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately
for Jeffy, Mars Robert is is been convicted of some sort of unification treason in the, I don't know. Anyways,
Anyway,
so in our game,
yes,
as per, general accepted, practice for Gettysburg game, I went hell for leather trying to just overrun Buford and get into Gettysburg at the start of July 1st. Didn't necessarily go that way. I don't know what was in the water that those cavalrymen were drinking.
crazy.
But it was whatever African warlords drink so that they can't get touched by bullets. And it was working. So, yeah, Buford didn't move very, very much. Cutler managed to get his leading brigade in First Corps up very quickly. First Corps, we had some activations that got 2 of the First Corps divisions, maybe Meredith and Barnes, maybe red and blue divisions from First Corps.
Robinson
got up very, very quickly, and were able to support.
No, Cutler's over.
Are we
here.
looking at? Is this what's on the screen right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
that's the initial setup on the
Okay.
first day.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't know if Todd's got it on like his laptop screen and his big computer screen. I didn't know if there's way more technology going on here than I'm used to. But so yeah, we have Buford kind of condense mostly onto those 4 ridge hexes in front of that long slope on McPherson's Ridge, and then a couple on the northern side there towards Oak Hill. But yeah, Harry Heath just was not doing it between poor activation rolls, because Harry Heath's division activation card isn't super great, which makes sense because it's Harry Heath. But yeah, he couldn't make Buford budge, and then he had a couple of a couple of brigades that were not doing great and were a little damaged after dealing with those assaults, that then Cutler's brigade was able to come in and just start smashing stuff up. I know if you watch the video recapping the first few sessions we had, Cutler's brigade did sterling service. It later got entirely crushed, but what are you doing?
I'm just trying to find the cards. Keep going.
Oh, that's all good. They're sitting in a pile right here, aren't they?
No, I got them put away.
Oh, never mind. Sorry, guys. So anyways, the morning of July 1st was pretty frustrating, as both the Confederates and the Union, just in terms of it was a grind on kind of the front edge of Seminary Ridge there. Eventually, like I said, First Corps got up, 11th Corps started entering the table. 11th Corps didn't get quite as mauled as it did historically, and I know in Jeff's game, Ewell was able to bring some divisions on. I know Todd got Jubal early onto Culp's Hill. So the Confederates did actually get to take Culp's Hill, which was cool. Same with, I don't remember what division it was from AP Hill's Corps, like I said, that got into that gap on Seminary Ridge that you can kind of see in the center top of the screen, right by where Cutler's brigade's at right now. He did have a division punch through to there. Unfortunately, both of those divisions were way too far forwards, and Jubal early got surrounded and crushed by all the units coming in up the Taneytown Road and the Baltimore Pike. And that division from 2nd Corps, AP Hill, got crushed and surrounded as well, which did not help the Confederate situation. By the evening of July 1st, the Confederates were kind of in a mishmash down here to the northwest of Seminary Ridge. They did push Buford back one line onto that spur, so they did push him off that front face.
They were here.
But then as soon as we were able to coordinate getting units from mainly 2nd Corps up behind them, they got pushed back. Latimer's artillery sat on that ridge where you can see the cavalrymen there. No. Latimer, the Confederate artillery,
Oh,
was right on that ridge where the cavalry are, and they were putting some good fire down. But
Pegram.
eventually, they just got overwhelmed.
Pegram. Latimer's in second corps unless you pulled in. Now, okay, so all right, Stigler's talking about heat. Okay, so Brockenbrow's 3 regiments at Gettysburg, they were the dregs of Virginia. They didn't want to put them in any of the good Virginia units. They stuck them all in that bad one. Davis was what the nephew of Jefferson Davis, who liked to wear dresses, we found out later, and they were pathetic. Archer's brigade, of course, we know what happened to Archer in the fighting against the Iron Brigade. He got snatched, and Pettigrew was the best brigade in the unit, had some somewhat elite cohesion forces.
Was it Davis's brigade
in
that division as well?
What's that?
Is it Davis's brigade?
That's what I said. He was the nephew of Jefferson.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
And they stunk. And he had, was it the 55th North Carolina? One of those was like the biggest regiment in the entire Army of Northern Virginia or something like that.
There you go.
Massive amount of men, and they just got smoked. And I don't know what you all did to Pettigrew. I didn't really see, but
Pettigrew was one of those units that ran up hard on some First Corps guys from the Union, and it just didn't work out. On the second,
I remember asking you guys, did you bring Rhodes down Oak Hill to fight? And you pointed
Rhodes
out
was in Ewell's,
got smoked, and you all pushed him back to the southwest. He was out of action so fast. I mean,
Rhodes is in Ewell's Corps, right, Jeff?
Yeah.
So Rhodes got stuck over here on the west side of Oak Hill,
right,
where we just had a bunch of First Corps. Again, we goofed up artillery pretty good. We can blame that on me. To where our Union artillery, I was only moving 1 hex of the artillery instead of the entire artillery brigade.
No, that was a
mutual goof.
It was a mutual goof, but I would say it was really me goof because I was the one reading it. So I read that as a brigade, well, which is how it reads, but I was thinking a brigade was a counter.
Yeah.
Because I thought that, they had the little battery names on them.
Yeah.
I thought that was a brigade. So I was firing not even close to enough artillery.
Well, and that's how I was activating. So like all those First Corps units were up on Oak Hill with no artillery support whatsoever. And we're just taking kind of gradual fire from, Rhodes was doing that, where you can see Todd's cursor on the north side of the map there. I had some of Rhodes' artillery down on the ridge. Yeah, over there that was putting fire up on Oak Hill. But by the second, the Union had already cleared out. No, they had not entirely cleared out Culp's Hill. By the morning of the second, the Confederates still held Culp's Hill and then that gap on Seminary Ridge. Those got cleared out right around when Longstreet was coming into action.
Yeah, so
which meant that those Third Corps units who had been fighting there along Seminary Ridge all just swung down onto Prisker's Hill and the ridge line there at the south end of Hare's Ridge. And so Longstreet just massacred Third Corps. Third Corps was in tatters.
What happened when Third Corps got down here and they were trying to block the line here? What happened at 1:15 in the morning our local time?
Well,
we don't need to talk about it. I'm sorry.
So anyways, Todd's trying to stir the pot. Don't worry. As soon as Nord comes in here, he will. But yeah, so that's kind of that's when I needed to go home and go to sleep to wake up this morning to do stuff. To leave and spend time with family yesterday.
Oh yeah, sorry.
And that's Jeffy and Toddy Poo Poo called it at that point in time. I thought I was coming back this morning to finish fighting.
We were asking the audience. I mean, it was just too.
That's fair.
I mean, because what we really looked at, and because I know it doesn't really matter, but we were looking at I think victory points. Like there's nothing to fight for even. They're not making it anywhere, and their casualties is what did it.
Yeah.
That I can't even imagine what the casualty count was there. So
y'all never broke McPherson's Ridge.
Nope.
With with everything the Army in Northern Virginia had, including having roads coming down from the north. While Early was running all the way to Culp's Hill he had zero support because you couldn't get nothing over there. Now, okay, so we all and you're getting that experience playing GBACW, of playing games where command is leaders having range to units, and those leaders of those units having range down to the regiments and stuff like that, much like GBACW or Line of Battle or some of their stuff. Whereas these games have abstracted the system out, and your division priorities are your command, and and the fog of whether or not an order gets issued is the dice roll on those priorities or on those CNC cards or those core activation cards.
Exactly.
And what the divisions will accept. And you could never develop enough. And then and games go the way dice go sometimes.
Yep. Yeah, the division priority was definitely something I think we could do better when we're, especially for the North, as they're trying to march all these guys up the road. We had guys all the way back and all over. And I thought what we needed to do with them is swap out division priority, just keep them rotating. Because what we would do is we'd get a unit up there and like, we're going to battle with them. It's like, well, no, maybe they need to sit back, let their boys catch up with them.
Yeah, we'd get like one division from each Union Corps to the front. And then all of a sudden it was one of those, well, crap, now we kind of have to activate them because they need to fight. But that means that the other guys are just sitting on the road not doing anything.
Yeah.
We also did randomize the event cards.
Yeah.
Which I feel like if we had been playing against each other, we would have kept things like fast couriers and whatever that allow us to activate.
Command coordination.
Yeah, that allow us to activate units, whether that's a division or a brigade, independently from their core and division activation, which might have
another thing that happens.
What's up?
Another thing that happens, and it's happening to me in Rocket Sugar, and it's kind of cool. It's kind of a cool effect. Like, so you've got Early sitting over there by himself on Culp's Hill, and then this massive onslaught happens over here around McPherson's Ridge. Well, you change division priorities, and you never get Early out of the way.
Well, yeah, he just sat there for the entire afternoon of the first because we didn't, like, we were slowly surrounding him with some units from.
He took 3 corps were distracted by him.
Correct.
3 different corps, not third corps. 3 different corps were distracted because they're like, well, we don't want them to go further in because they don't want to get these 10 points up here. And so because look at all that we committed tons of Wainwright and Osborne artillery just pounding these guys.
At one point, didn't you have Confederates on Cemetery Hill also?
Yeah, that was interesting. So yeah, Confederates got up on Cemetery. Let's see. I'm trying to remember. I had 3 possessions of it. Let's say Union was up there. They got just rocked by Confederates that came up here, so they got off. Confederates got up there, and as soon as they got up there, they got rocked and got knocked down. I was like, man, no one's taking Cemetery Hill because that place is living up to its name. So then Early got up here. Yeah, that move to Culp's Hill was just not very smart on mine. And I did
it was practicable. You did it.
I did it, but there was no follow-up.
We've all seen that scene in Gettysburg. If practicable, if I had a regiment, I would have taken that hill. Unfortunately, Early had a division, and it didn't work out.
Yeah. Now, what should I have done with Early instead? I don't know. Maybe come over here,
hit the backside of first,
or should Rhodes have moved hastily to Early instead of coming down Oak Hill?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, because Rhodes and who else comes over here?
I don't remember the third division.
Everyone that came up here. What's that, Jeff?
Rhodes and Early are the only 2 that come in over there.
Oh, really? Okay, well then
there's not a third division in.
Nope. Johnson comes in on the Chambersburg Pike.
Okay. Well, okay, it was Johnson then. Johnson, Rhodes, and Early made it that far, but Johnson and Rhodes, so they were coming up. Those guys just got. It was when I played by myself.
You could not get Johnson. There was no way you were going to get. So Johnson came in where everybody else in the Confederate Army.
Johnson comes here. I think our idea was we were going to put Rhodes because Rhodes can come in on the Mummersburg Road, right?
He has 3 choices.
Yeah. So the idea there, if I recall correctly, was okay. Let's bring him in. We'll take Oak Hill. Because taking McPherson's Ridge, where Buford starts, was not working out for us. And so, again, the Confederates had Oak Hill for a minute, but then that weight of 1st and 2nd Corps arriving just didn't work out. I don't know. I did the traditional wisdom for Gettysburg games, like we talked about, is you go balls to the walls, trying to get I don't remember Stigler, I'm sorry. But I tried to go just, and Jeff, I mean, this is, correct me if I'm wrong, this has always been the conventional wisdom that's worked for me as the Confederates in Gettysburg games and everything else, is you get into Gettysburg, you get on Cemetery Hill as quickly as you can.
Yep.
With as many guys as you can
on the first day.
Yeah. So that's what we did with, we were trying to do with Heath and Hill's Corps as they came in. It just wasn't happening, man. Like I said, as soon as we consolidated Buford a little bit, right, to hold the Emmetsburg Road or the Chambersburg Pike, so that the Confederates couldn't just start streaming guys with maneuver orders at half movement cost straight down there. And they were able to do that. Caliph's battery of pop guns did pretty good for itself. That certainly was one of those things where we were doing the artillery activation wrong. Caliph's battery is tiny and doesn't do much, so it's not that much of a handicap that only one hex of it gets to shoot. All of Heath's artillery was shooting at one hex per turn also for that initial artillery bombardment at the start of every turn. But what else on your list, Toddy? What do we need to address?
Well, let's see here. So because especially the Confederates, since they were losing so much, I was not, when we would do rally orders or defend orders or whatever it is, defend orders to get rally, I should have been paying a little bit more attention to what we could rally off the broken side. So when they break, they see it off board and you can rally them back broken.
I thought you had to do that at night.
Battle one, no. What you can do at night is bring crush to broken.
Oh.
So yeah, so that was a lost opportunity there. We didn't do a lot of that. It didn't feel like.
That's one of the things about this. You got to make a choice. So we know that infantry can do things in attempt to rally in a defensive. Plus, they get a +1 column shift. But artillery can do only one of 3 options each time.
Yeah.
So and then we also talked about too is not being able to get anything coordinated.
Yeah, well, I mean, to speak to that, I think this, especially when you're playing the long game, it's a long game, and again, we could have been more patient and we're attacking every hour. Like, no, maybe we take 2 or 3 hours. I'm talking about in-game turn time. Every turn is an hour. Maybe we're gonna take 2 or 3 hours to get everyone set up, refresh them, get some guys up.
In the first day of the battle, I mean, so Heath strikes. Pender is on the map. I mean, he comes into play and he's just held back because they really don't think they need any more than Heath. And then all of a sudden Rhodes shows up and Pender still hasn't moved into the attack. And then Early shows up. Pender still hasn't moved into the attack. And then finally Heath has taken such a beating that they start to move Pender forward. Now I keep asking, well, what if Pender had been moved forward faster?
Right.
And put more pressure on the First Corps. But Lee had not gotten to the battlefield until lunchtime. So A.P. Hill, who was sick, I guess, as he was quite a bit in the later parts of the war, he did not push Pender to the front fast enough, I don't think.
I was trying to get everybody that I could forwards to attack. And it took me a few turns to understand, okay, here's how we got to or how we need to organize in order to then execute successful attacks that might actually work. I don't know.
Stigler, you're right. It was Cemetery Hill, bud. And
there you go.
And we never got to look at it. I wish I could have took you guys over there to the other side of the cemetery. If you stand at kind of like the focal point of East Cemetery Hill, it's like a freaking chute coming up in there where if you had cannons sitting there in that little V, it would just be a massacre for anything coming up in there, but there wasn't nothing there, I get. There wasn't a whole lot there. I mean, Howard had the right idea. He kept the Schertz's division back on Cemetery Hill, but then when he saw what was happening to Barlow and von Steinwehr, he shipped Coster's brigade forward off of Cemetery Hill, where they were preparing.
Yeah.
But I mean, y'all made it. And Herman said it right. Reading that comment on YouTube about don't follow the narrative, don't follow the script.
No,
we just about playing these games, and that's what I'm not going to lie to you. While I'm curious about the way things happen, I thought what you all did was so freaking intriguing and fun that It was a whole different out. I'm not gonna lie, I've never played a Gettysburg game where the Army of Northern Virginia didn't chase the Yanks back to the high ground on the south side of Gettysburg, and you all just proved that could have been done.
Well, yeah. Oh man, what was I going to say? Oh, well, we had a crazy like follow up. What's it? Yeah, follow up combat. It's not the word for it, but we had a crazy one that had three breakthrough attacks in a row. That was weird.
I kept rolling boxcars as Confederates, and so they kept getting the doubles, and then that pushed them on. Okay, you get another break or another follow on attack, and then I did it again, and we got another follow on. It was that was when Longstreet was coming up to just start smacking the bejesus out of Third Corps down to the south of McPherson's Ridge.
So that was a crazy example. That doesn't happen very often. Or anyway, but that was just an example of what happened a few times in places where people would get like early on all the Cold like the extreme example. You just got too far ahead, and then they just would go broop and just get surrounded and dead. Like the guys that got up here. It just wasn't a right attack. It's not. They're not panzers. They're not going to go boom poo shut up here and go and it's just that's just not how it's. Well, except for you had that one guy going up and down the.
When Cutler originally was able to make it up to Buford's position, there were a number of Harry Heath's brigades and demi brigades that were kind of beat up, and he just went back and forth up and down that front side of McPherson's Ridge a couple times, just smacking the Jesus out of Harry Heath's guys. Yeah, Cutler did do that. But one thing that we were talking about is I have a tendency in games sometimes to build these Death Star stacks, right? Which is what I just call a really powerful stack that's got a lot of strength points or combat points, whatever the system does. And it really doesn't work out very well in this system, which makes sense because all of a sudden you might roll and they don't activate, right? Maybe you get one brigade activation for that division, and if you got a couple brigades in that stack, then all of a sudden, oh man, that's not good.
Yeah.
Or maybe the Union gets their division activated and does really good, and then they pull fast orders on one of the other cards, or the Meade card, and then that division gets to activate again, and you just get surrounded. And most of the time, those stacks get just absolutely cut apart by volley fire. So you get 3 or 4 moderate sized stacks around them, and you shake them, and then you shake them again and they're battle worn, and you shake them again and they're battle worn and shaken, and then you shake them again and they're taking tests to see if they run the hell off. And that's a really good way that we found in this game to start just making units entirely combat ineffective. But
it's also good for the Union. I mean, you want to call it fortune or being fortunate that they had the initial units on the board and the initial units riding were very good cavalry and probably some of the best infantry troops in the entire Army of the Potomac were the first ones to hit the field.
Yeah. Second Corps is pretty beefy, but it took them a while to get up. It was fantastic. I enjoyed the hell out of this game, and now I want to play Blind Swords, and I keep looking at the Shattered Union series also, because that combines the level of engagement in Blind Swords with this card draw system, which sounds quite wonderful.
One of the rules that's in Blind Swords that I kind of wish was in this one here is in this one here, when you get division priority, I don't know about AMFS. I can't remember the cards now, but in the Rocket Chickamauga, you have no orders.
Yeah.
Sometimes. And in Blind Swords, you would get a limited activation where they could at least fire.
Yeah, exactly. Blind Swords is far closer to that. Okay, everybody can usually do something. Whether that's a full activation or, they're just standing where they're at and shooting. It is different than here, because here, absolutely, we kept running into that with Third Corps. Bernie kept rolling ones on his division activation, would just do absolutely nothing. Just stand there and get the Christ beat out of him by Longstreet.
Yeah, that is true. You do. Yeah.
And honestly, if you roll poorly enough on your core activation, sometimes it's congratulations. You can have activate one brigade from your division that has priority 1. And that's
or your opponent is holding a command confusion card.
Yeah, and so then all of a sudden it's they're not doing anything anyways.
Yeah.
They are moving 2 movement points. Or they have
I mean, it is. The whole game revolves that whole game, the priority rule of this game that determines whether or not something is going to happen is division priority and what you get on that core card.
Yeah.
That sets the pace for every card flip in the game. Every dice roll that has anything to do with getting troops to move revolves around that division priority system. And like I said, I wish you guys, those of you that have Rocket Chickamauga, you're definitely going to see the difference in the division priority and the number and the types of activations you get. I think they beefed it up a little bit more, Rocket Chickamauga, with many more options. I mean, you told me the Longstreet card has 4 out of 6 that can be DP1 and DP2, and he's only got 3 divisions, so that's a plus for him. But
which is wild, because then I don't know if there's any Union core cards other than maybe Second Corps that have more than just DP1 activation.
Right. Now I'm a Stigler. Okay, so that's okay. Very valid. Okay, I'm going to go with. Okay, well, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it every time. GBA still W is still the best one. It's still the best game in the system for tactical Civil War. And command radius, or command range, or whatever, or radius, whatever you want to call it, I think is still the best way to go. And how many times your units can activate. So taking this, the Black Swan's fine too, while you're not dealing with command radius, which as well as I do, playing GBCW, you can lose some effect because you can't get things going. Well, at the scale that he created Black Swan, the division priority and the random and dice roll stuff that's how he affected that in this game. And amazingly enough, it seems to work. I didn't think so the first time I played AMFS, but after I played it the second time and now playing Rock Shop, I'm like, you know what? It does kind of work for the scale that you're playing this game.
Stig, it is. One thing that we did playing both sides, normally, what's up, Peter? Normally, you've got a set number of those random cards for each side, and you can choose, 2 each turn that you want to have. So if you want fast couriers so the Union can activate an extra division that is coming from a corps that has not yet been activated, you could choose, okay, I want that in here. Confederates have a very similar, or the same card. I think it's got a different name, but I think it's command coordination.
Mm-hmm.
We decided not to do that, to just use 7 random cards from each side's.
What's Lee's CIC card? What was his powers?
You can activate an entire division, and I think it gets a +1 on division priority.
Yeah, right.
So it basically just allows you to Jesus activate something. The point is, it is a lot of weight to put on random cards, but it's not entirely random, and it goes to both sides. So it does open up a lot of opportunities there, but they're not necessarily opportunities that only go to one side.
Stigler, you got this game, don't you? You got both of them, don't you?
Yeah, I would play where we would choose 2 cards for each side that next time.
Yeah.
And you said you
but let me ask you a question though. Wouldn't you find yourself always picking the same?
I mean, you do. I mean, it's the same thing in Blind Swords where you've got the random chits, and it's the same thing. You could choose 2 or 3, and then you throw in however many random ones are there also for the random event chits.
Interesting. Yeah, you're right, Jeff. I mean, Union would always be picking who had.
Yeah, you certainly do. Just like in Blind Swords, you usually make sure you throw the firefight chit in there because it essentially just allows you to shoot for free.
But in this one, eventually you get the Friction of War cards, which
really start messing with you.
That eliminates the use of the next card drawn, which is not in every turn. They say, but I noticed it came up at 5 p.m. on Saturday, so it's kind of cool. And that's when it came in on the first day. It came in near the end of the day, which is great. I mean, it illustrates people get tired.
It does that in blind swords, and it's really frustrating because most of the things in the cup are activations. So it seems like almost always that fog of war chit or confused. There's 2 of them in blind swords.
It's the same fog of war, which is where you roll to die,
and then
friction of war or friction.
So there's 2 of them. One of them ignores the next chit that gets pulled. The other one you basically just put on the table on something and they are just screwed, can't do anything.
Oh gosh. Okay.
It's fun. It is fun. Yeah, there are a lot of similarities between the 2 systems, which did make learning the system a lot faster and a lot easier.
Well, your all's default event is slightly different than the default events on the cards. What would say the percentage of you found yourself using default events?
We didn't use that default thing very often.
Yeah, once we realized you don't hold it. Well, again, the first couple turns we were playing that they all just sat there, and then at the end of the turn, we'd have like 4 default events for each side.
Because I don't. That's a really tough one because rarely could we use the cards that you were holding at the end? Because at the end of the turn, the Confederate plays a card that they can play in the Union, but I'm like, you could never play them because it was.
We learned how to use those a lot better as we played, also to the point where
I think we would have used them more as the default event instead of holding them because they rarely could be used later.
Yeah.
Which default card, everyone, is 1 unit can minimum move 1 or fire.
An infantry unit, like not artillery.
Right.
You can't just randomly fire artillery. But yeah. Correct. Exactly. And that's the fun part. I agree with you, Stigler. And that's what there's a couple miniatures games that kind of harness that just chaos and obnoxiousness. Correct, Camp. I get that a lot also. Chain of Command, just for you miniatures players, if you have not played, play it. It also captures that command chaos and battlefield chaos very, very well.
Very tough.
Todd won't play it with me anymore. You can go back and watch our John Blake Gap videos from a couple years ago. And then you can watch our end of the year recap where he says that was his worst experience of the year.
Oh my gosh, someone's holding on to some memories like Yule going back down here at the bottom.
People don't forget.
Jeez. Anywho,
the French getting their butts handed to them 6 games in a row.
That might have been some of it. Well, yeah, you're right, Achilles.
What else do we have?
Let's see what else. I don't know. The night turn, just prep a little bit better for that. I thought about it, but then I kept kind of moving people. Just a couple turns before, just let them get lined up and ready to go. And
yeah, if we had thought to get guys forwards and then spend a turn on defense to put up hasty works, that would have been pretty awesome.
Yeah, a little bit more hasty works, a little bit more breastworks, but it's fine. And I think, and just try to nail down some of the rules. A lot of the mistakes came to what happens when McMurray and I play. Just play too fast, and we just like,
and we miss shit. Yeah.
So that's just like
early running to Culp's Hill because we weren't thinking about covering it. It smacks of It Never Snows, where we lost Eindhoven 4 or 5 times to the Germans because we weren't thinking about it.
We got it! Yay!
Yeah, awesome.
You captured it with 1 platoon, you nerds.
Something else, yes, and then a company of SS, security troops marches into Eindhoven, and we have to scramble to recapture it.
Anywho, it was a great experience, and I mean, this is why I'm enjoying this game and GCACW because and the more I read about ACW, because I'm learning about all this, it's like these guys were fighting, they hated each other, just this crazy stuff. And yes, it happens in every army and every war, but man, it is just really clear in the Civil War because there's so many letters and so there are plenty of idiots in World War II.
Documented,
you just don't see it.
You have radios and shit in World War II, so some of that is mitigated.
Well, yeah, you're right. Someone's making up for maybe a little bit more initiative. That's a whole other discussion.
This was long story short, this was a fantastic game, fantastic playthrough. We'll happily play it again. Again, not necessarily right now, but we will certainly be playing it again because it's delightful. Yes,
you are fatigued the whole day, the whole next day, which is a minus on your command rolls and something else.
Yeah, so there's 2 night turns and a dusk turn.
There's a dusk turn, 2 night turns, and then a dawn turn.
Yeah, so it is. You have to rest or you are screwed the next day.
Yeah, and I did not do that. I definitely everybody was rested. So we didn't that chunk didn't play a part. We didn't have anybody that was just struggling the next day because they didn't get their 40 links. Now, Stig, maybe there might, because I did think about that. That man, there's maybe some troops from the Northern Union guys that we should march like crazy, but I didn't see how that was. That's going to take a couple of planes to kind of figure out the best way to do that, because I know that happened too, and they would be fatigued, but then they'd be rested for the third day. I don't know. So yeah, but there is for sure. They obviously Lutman knows what he's doing. Lutman.
That's a good point. You'd probably have far better results defending with those fatigued troops where they don't have to. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you don't have to activate as much, it wouldn't have been as big a deal. But
yeah,
we'll have to figure that out.
Yep.
On the next playthrough.
Fun stuff. Great. Lots of little rules to keep track of. It's not bad. It's just little things like marching through Gettysburg at full speed. We messed that up. But
yeah, there's stop signs and signals in Gettysburg that slow people down.
So it's but super approachable. Big monster. Play it. Get Chickamauga. Do something.
You should get it. You should play it.
Get
your hands on a used copy. There's
there's
a
tons
fair
of
number rolling around. That's where I got mine. I got the copy that we have was a used copy that I got. It was a Kickstarter somebody got of the second edition, so it did have the bigger play aids in it, but absolutely fantastic. Got all the goodies, like little.
Or buy it from WarGame Vault for $25 and then use Vassal.
What?
Yeah, you buy it on WarGame Vault. You get all the rules, all the stuff, and you play it on Vassal for $20.
That's a phenomenal idea.
Yeah,
especially if you're going to solo play it, where you aren't worried about somebody else going, "Hey, we got to play this. We got to play this. We got to play this."
Yeah. Yep.
So remember too that if you bivouac the following turn after you bivouac, you're not doing a damn thing. Your priority card's flipped upside down. You can't use it.
And that's how the Confederates started, with one or two cards that could be used. Didn't hurt them too bad ultimately, because the North wasn't prepared to attack, but they got them a couple times. But yeah, kind of ultimately was okay though, because at the dawn and dusk turns, you can't do a whole lot anyway. So,
yeah, your shooting is super curtailed. Your movement is really restricted.
Yeah.
So it felt like not having them active on that dawn turn wasn't a huge deal. I feel like it hurt the Union more when they were black, because we had a couple guys that were Wajak still, and so they were not moving forward like they needed to.
Yeah. Any other questions from the audience? Anybody else? Jeff, anything else? You keep playing Chickamauga. How's it looking? You think you're gonna make it through the whole thing? How many days is that?
Oh yeah, it's 3 days. I'm already into the, like I say, almost lunchtime on the second day. I'm trying to consolidate for attacks better. It's not necessarily paying off every time I'd go to do. Well, I actually I had a really decent, successful attack with some Law's division on the left end of the Union flank, but we got to see how that develops. It's so, and always keep it in mind, and we've already talked about it. Todd and I have talked about it to no end. You keep the divisions that belong to a specific corps, keep them together, so that you can get DP1 and DP2 attacks. So you guys,
not only that, but
you may know this. Some of you may not know this. When you get a dual division, a dual DP activation, you execute both divisions, even though you may give different orders depending on what the division priority order you get is. You execute them as if they were one division. If it's two divisions, so you're going to do all your firing across the board is going to be first.
Yeah, you made me do division priority 1 and then division priority 2.
That's how I read it.
This guy,
and then you do this. You got to remember, you got to do all your stuff in sequence: fire, then your movement, and then after move. Now, so the prime example, I had it last night, was Law's division got division by group with all their artillery, and Johnson's division got division by brigade. Mm-hmm. So what you do is you're going to set all your orders ahead of time. So you may have each brigade in Johnson's division doing 3 different things, but all of Law's division is all got to do the same thing. So you go through and you do all your fire for both divisions. And then when you go to execute your movements, you'll apply the movements by what order you gave the whole division or each brigade. And then you'll final it out with your close assault stuff. That's how you get massive attacks going. And that, I wasn't doing it right either until recently. So I kept asking myself,
how beautiful this thing is.
Division priorities if you can't.
This whole game is gorgeous, by the way. Again, in case you need more selling. Wonder how much it would be to print one of these things with Dan the Man on the front of it.
Well, it would take a lot less color.
Yeah, you'd only need half the pages. But yeah, it's a wonderful game. It's a fantastic system. I'm excited beyond belief for Antietam. That's going to be fantastic.
Agreed.
One day, one small contained battlefield. I feel like it's going to be it could be a one mapper. We saw that battlefield. That battlefield is tiny compared to this one.
Yeah.
Like, unless I'm way off base, Jeffy, correct me if I'm wrong.
You can see the whole battlefield from the tower at the head of Sunken Road.
Exactly. That could be super cool. Again, dude, I really want to get a Shattered Union game, Jeff.
Well, I thought you had one. You had the Champion Hill one, don't you?
I don't have Champion Hill. I
Well,
thought
I
about
bought all
getting
three
Champion
of them off of War Game Vault, and I'm going to play them on Vassal.
Hill. Okay. I was thinking about either the one that focuses on Bronner's Farm or Cross Keys Port Republic. I know you're super jacked for Cross Keys Port Republic because it's your boy and it's right by your house.
Yeah, I played both of those in GBACW. So, and Stigler, get these. Come on, can't you cheat and send us a copy of the basic rules so these guys can start playing?
Stigler, you're a wonderful person. I always really enjoy talking to you. Your games are beautiful to look at. The counters are awesome. I am too stupid for GBACW. If you can get me a copy of GBACW for Dumb Nuts, I will be delighted to steal all of these games that Todd has up here, and then all the spare copies that Jeff has.
Jeff's
because
23 copies of each.
7 or 8 copies of every GBACW game.
He's starting a GBACW online store here soon.
Yeah, it will be super cool. I am excited for Three Dog to come out. Say, I know Jeff's going to lose his mind because he's got like 4 copies of that coming. This guy's got a copy of Three Dog coming, which means I'm going to immediately come over here and steal the Dum Dum rules. So I think I have 1 or 2 really old ones. I know I have the Baton Rouge one. What's the other one, Jeff, that I got in that great big bundle of SPI games? I don't remember. But point is, that'd be pretty cool. Very excited for that. I know you don't like that system, but it gets me buying more games, and I will invariably buy Swords and Bayonets.
Which system?
Huh?
What were you talking about?
GBACW for Dum Dums.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, I'm not gonna lie. I'll look through the rules because I want to see if Look, first off, I know that Dick and the gang they know what they're doing, and I after Dick cornered me and straightened me out in Gettysburg a few years back about what the purpose of that rule set is, I completely understand. If it'll pull people into GBACW, then maybe it'll push them into playing, the full set of rules. So I just figure out, look, plain and simple. I want to see the rules. I'm going to look at them to see what, lightness they put into them. Will Hexy ever play him? Probably not a chance in hell.
Again, if it gets more boxes out the door, that's probably a good thing for the system in general. But yeah.
No Labats, no Labatai, no. And Todd spent that $100 to buy me a nice new version of Ligny, and I'm scared of the system because there's 48 versions of rules to play it by.
All right. Anything else, gentlemen?
Todd wants to go to bed. He's over there yawning. Look at his eyeballs.
Yeah, I got to be up at 4.
Everybody, thanks a lot for coming on. Thanks for all the people who watched us play all those hours. That was amazing.
Go check out my latest Gettysburg video I posted.
Yeah, go check. So Hex is going to continue playing Chickamauga. I might play one of these smaller snares on Vassal just to kind of see something, but I think we're moving on to something else at the moment.
Ross, type your YouTube channel name in the comments there, so they can go look at that. Ross put up his first play with his buddy playing Big Bethel.
Oh yeah, that's right, Ross. That was great.
I ran the thing for 2 hours and 35 minutes.
Yep. More playing of your game, Stig, online, going on YouTube.
Yeah.
Getting people
there you go. Check that channel out, guys. Go over and sub to Ross. Ross is the guy that's been on with us for the last 4 or 5 weekends.
On the screen.
On the screen. All right. I'll toss it on the screen. You know how to pull up, do you, Jeff?
Yeah, he's been pulling them up all day. A sound like thunder.
Yep.
I just meant to throw the comment up there.
Oh,
there's the link to the.
Oh, he's got it.
Yeah, there you go.
But he's got his first post up there. They did a playthrough of Big Bethel.
Yeah.
And his buddy also has a bunch, I think, tutorial stuff up on his channel too. TD.
Yeah, how long have those been up? I mean, I've never seen. I've only seen like stuff from you and stuff from a million years ago. Anyway, so I don't know. Yeah, what's the next? Oh well, I'll be playing GBACW for a little bit longer with Jeff and Ross occasionally.
Yeah, we got 2 more games to play at least.
Yeah, 2 more scenarios.
And hopefully 3 Dog is here by the time those end. So that
If it's not, I think we'd try Kernstown so we can go step in the cow patties.
I'm down for whatever. All right. Good
All right.
stuff. Everybody have fun at work tomorrow. Yay. Whoop-dee.
Yay, Monday. Come on. All right. Thanks, all. We'll see you later.
See you guys later, Paul.